What's up, everybody? I got something that I want to share with you that I think you might find helpful. And basically, it's got to do with giving yourself that extra little bit of a kick so that you actually kind of push yourself over the edge when you're doing a project. Because usually, when we're working on a project, it's that last kind of like 20%, that last little push that we need to get it out there, that usually stops us from actually completing the thing that we are working on. So, I have been working on the Quasar Getting Started guide for literally about a month now, building out the project that we're going to build, working on the bits and pieces, and trying to figure out exactly how I want to explain everything. Because this is probably going to be my most popular series. This is the one that people end up watching the most, and this is my chance to grab people and be like, hey, Quasar is freaking amazing. Look at what it can do. Look how easy it is to get started with Quasar. Look at all the stuff that you can explore. Like, look at the massive, ridiculously large component library. And if I can hook people early on, I know that they'll be able to watch a lot more of my videos and they'll be able to experience the framework that I love and adore, which is Quasar. So, anyway, this is like really important to me, which is why I've spent so much time planning and trying to figure it out. And I've been doing live streams of me working on it, so that it's going to be really good for you guys and that the community's going to love it. But lately, it started to feel really, really stale. And I've found that this is such a common theme in my life. I used to play a lot of piano. When I was training to be a concert pianist, I didn't end up following through with it, which is kind of ironic considering what this podcast is about. But I remember when I was doing piano, it was always around recital time. It was always when you were about to play all those pieces that you were practicing, a few months before that it's really started to get stale and you were like, oh, I don't want to work on these pieces anymore. I'm so over it. But that's when you have to give yourself that little kick, because that's when everybody else quits. I remember, actually, there's this Tyler LaBeouf. I don't even know how to say his name. He's the guy from Transformers. He does this video where he goes, do it! Just do it! And for some reason, I think it's meant to be a joke or something, but I find it super inspiring. And a lot of people turned it into a meme. But anyway, there's this part in that video where he says, you should get up to the point where everyone else would quit and then keep going. And that has totally stuck with me. You should get to that point where everybody else quits. Everybody else gets 80% of the project done, and then they give up. They quit. And then they move on to something else, and they get 80% of that done, and then they give up and quit. But if I can be that person that gets up to that 80% point, but then just keeps going beyond that point where everybody else would quit, and I just keep swimming, like Dory says in Nemo, just keep swimming, just keep pushing on, then eventually you reach the point where it's finished, and you've got something awesome to share with the world. So, anyway, I think I was telling a story, but then I got a little bit sidetracked there. I got a bit excited. But yeah, I remember in piano, it was always those last moments. But for some reason, I just kind of intuitively knew that everybody else would be stopping at this point, would be quitting. And so I would always push on. And for those of you that don't know the story, I started off as the worst pianist there. And luckily enough, I was able to learn the right lessons and have the right coaches in my life that were able to motivate me and help me to sort of push a little bit harder than everyone else. And I was able to get the highest mark in my recital from everybody in the year. So I went from, this person who was frankly horrible. My piano teacher even said to me, Luke, you are by far the worst pianist here. I'm not kidding you. He actually said that to me. And I remember going home and crying and feeling like I didn't belong. And then I'd watch other pianists and just think, there's no way my fingers will ever be able to do that. But yeah, I just kept pushing on, and I ended up getting a different teacher who was way better, and he gave me the exact processes that I needed. And he helped me realize when I felt like quitting and that I felt like I'd had enough and I didn't want to practice anymore. He helped me get the mentality of that's what everybody else is thinking. So push on. Do it. And if you don't stop, then when everybody else quits, because they will, you'll come out on top. So yeah, anyway, that's the point that I wanted to make. Lately, I felt like just doing something else. I felt like putting my attention somewhere else. And this is what most people do. And I feel like this is the common advice. Give it a rest, focus on something else for a while. And maybe I should do that, maybe for a day or two, and that's a good idea to sort of let it simmer. But I think it's a bad idea to start focusing on another project. I want to see this through. I want this to be the most incredible getting started guide that ever existed, and I want to get it done. And so that's why, today I've been sitting down and pushing on and keeping on working on it to make sure that I can get past that extra 80% and turn it into something magical that you guys are going to love. Thank you so much for listening, and please do check out quasarcast.com/register if you love this kind of thing, if you love learning through videos. If you're not, if you'd rather just read through the docs, then check out the docs. They're just amazing. I've learned pretty much everything that I've learned about Quasar through the docs. In fact, everything I've learned about Quasar from the docs and asking questions on the Discord channel. So yeah, but if you love learning through videos, then check out quasarcast.com/register. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And remember, if you are at a stale point in your life, this is your chance to show that you can be better than everybody else, that you can be that person who pushes on past that extra, puts in that extra 20% of effort to push that project right through to the finish line. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Quasar Life Podcast, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye for now.